Welcome back to the Pre-Vetted podcast, where we spotlight extraordinary people and remarkable talent reshaping our world. Our guest today is Bilal Asif. He's a founder of ConnectGenie AI and Kickbits. He's a full-stack developer, a long-time Upwork top-rated plus freelancer. Bilal launched the client framework, which we're going to talk in detail, for profile optimization, and now he helps founders, marketers, and executives grow irresistible LinkedIn personal brands with AI-powered tools. So get ready to learn how he merged code, content, and community to attract opportunities on autopilot. Hello, Bilal. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, Federico. Thank you for having me. How are you doing?
I am doing great. I just come back a week ago ish. I was in San Francisco, so getting used to being back at home, working from home. It's an adjustment, right?
Yeah.
But
I mean,
happy to be here. Yeah.
you must be having some jet lag, trying to recover from it at least, I guess.
Yeah, I mean it's a 3 hour flight, but your whole it's very short, yeah. But
That
the whole before and after, yeah.
no, that's nothing because our flight from when we travel from Pakistan to United States and come back, so it's almost like 30 hours. It takes us 30 hours. Like the flight is almost of 18 hours, and sometimes there are some layovers, so it takes almost between 27 to 30 hours on average to fly to United States and come back. So whenever I come back, it's usually the case that I have to sleep at least 2 days to get myself out of that zone.
Yes, I hear you. So I I'm from Argentina, but I'm living in Mexico, so flight from San Francisco to Mexico is very short, but going from Mexico and I'm in Guadalajara to Buenos Aires, it's 20 hours. So it does drain your energy as well. So I
Obviously,
understand what you're talking about.
obviously,
Yeah.
makes sense. Makes
Um,
sense.
yeah. I don't do that flight as often, but still, right. But nevertheless, when I do this 3 hour flight, I think it's 3 hours and 40 minutes, but still it's drains most of your day because, the lack of sleep, the weird schedule, all that, it's exhausting.
And again, the trauma that someone might not find drugs in your suitcase. Whenever I have to go to the security check, even though I have packed everything myself, I don't let anyone touch my bags, but I'm always worried that you never know, someone might have put something in my suitcase and I might not get caught. That's always the case. This is like the fear which I have never been able to get over.
Yeah, the stress of flying, and and there's going to be issues with immigration, there's going to be issues with my luggage, there's going to be issues with the plane. I lost planes. Yeah, it's
It's
the
hectic.
night before I don't sleep because of the stress, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, even though it's a 3 hour flight, it becomes a whole thing, right?
Yeah, I understand. Totally
Yeah.
understand your point.
But one thing I've done, talking about this, is I was able to, I think I've done this like 10 times ish. Um, Drive from Guadalajara to San Francisco.
Uh,
It's 36-hour driving, right? So you know, it's the way that I see it is it's an adventure. It's more expensive, more time consuming, less practical, but it's an adventure. So, and you're doing it at your own pace. So if you're tired, you can go to a hotel and sleep. If you want to drive more, you can, right? If you're hungry, you can find there's so many beautiful restaurants, right? Because you're driving right next to the coast. So there's so many places you can go and explore. So yeah, I prefer doing that, but sometimes, the schedule doesn't allow me to do that.
I actually planned it, when I went to San Francisco, San Jose side, Santa Clara and San Jose side. Then it was my first time in California. So I also thought that I would be able to pull it off, that I can, get a car on rental and travel by road. But since I had because I mostly am in a visiting state, I don't usually live too long in states. So I thought, maybe it might not be a good idea, because, and I did make an analysis of the cost and I saw that, it would be more expensive. So in that case, I did not do it, but I do want to do it at some point. I guess that would be an adventure. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, I've done trips within the US as well,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, it gets expensive. The whole logistics gets expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
And the other issue is that when you're driving in Mexico, because you have more hazards, that kind of makes the journey more interesting, right? Whereas once you get into the US side, the highways are very practical but boring. So you
Uh-huh.
set cruise control, and then you keep going and going and going. So if you're a little bit tired, it kind of drains you because it's monotone, right? It's very, there's nothing
Monotonous.
happened. Monotonous, yeah, thank you. So I found I'm able to travel for less distance when I'm in the US side compared to the Mexican side, right?
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Great.
So going back to topic, let's talk about Connect Genie. What inspired you to create Connect Genie AI?
Oh, well, it's a long story, to be very honest. The thing is that I actually, my main business was always Kickbits. We run a software development services wing in Kickbits. We do staffing and we provide software engineers, full stack engineers, MVP development services over there. And my usual sales operation, the usual sales channel used to be Upwork only. Like I got a lot of success on Upwork. I was top rated plus developer over there, and I was also nominated by Upwork as the top 5 developers. But the problem was that I was only known on Upwork. To be honest, I started to feel that I need to know be known outside of Upwork, and for that reason. And one of the other reason would be that I got actually selected in a professional fellowship exchange program, and in that program I had to meet my counterpart. His name was Devin Mobley, Oklahoma. So he and I, we used to run the same business, right? So what happened was that when I connected with him and I saw him on LinkedIn, I realized that this guy promotes himself a lot. And I had not updated my LinkedIn since I graduated, because I started my
Mhm.
doing my business after 3 years. So I had no, interest in that on that side. So I began to realize that it's important to promote yourself, have yourself personal brand. So I started going and started trying to make myself known on LinkedIn. And what that required was to actually send out personalized connection requests, but not just connection requests, but personalized connection request notes, so that people actually see that you have seen their profile and made an effort that to see who are you trying to connect with, right? So that is what I used to do, and in the process I got my first contract through LinkedIn, which paid me almost more than $130,000. So I thought, this is something that really works. What happened was, along the way, that I realized that it's not just a connection request. One has to work on their personal brand as well. Like they have to produce content as well. So, and then in 2023, what happened was that AI came into existence. My specialty as a developer, as a full stack product engineer, lies in Chrome extension development. So I merged the both of two and created a small extension and named it ConnectGenie, because it used to analyze the profile of the prospect that you're trying to connect with, and would assess their name, their headlines, all these things, and then it would create a connection request note that would be really personalized. Because if you are trying to expand your network on LinkedIn and you want to do it on scale, then you cannot keep on going to your prospect's profile and analyze, spend 3 to 4 minutes. If you have to do it quickly, and this was the way that I thought would be it. So that's why I named it Connect Genie, and I launched it in July 2023 with two features. One of them was this personalized connection request note, and then there was this commenting feature. But over the time, we have evolved it quite a bit.
If someone has only 30 minutes a week for LinkedIn, what should I focus on first?
Thing is, I don't think that 30 minutes on LinkedIn per day or per week would be enough. That would mean almost like 5 minutes or 4 minutes something a day. And I think that someone, especially who's a founder, and any professional, for that matter, I think they should spend a little bit more time, at least half an hour per day. I would recommend. But if for some reason you do not have that capacity, you cannot afford to sit because of the time or the task, then I would at least say that just focus on the engagement side. because obviously it would not be possible for you to create just content right away in 30 minutes for the entire week. But if you keep on engaging for at least 5 to 7 minutes a day, that would still do, because that way you keep on going to different people in your network and make sure that you let them know that you're known, engaging by commenting on their profile. So that's that. But I would still recommend that if it is possible, that at least spend 20 to 25 minutes a day on LinkedIn, at least a minimum, so that you can grow your personal brand with a steady pace.
Right. Right. So you recommend the time is 30 minutes a day.
30 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes a day. I mean, I do understand that 30 minutes seem like too much. It seems like a cost, but you have to look at it from an investment perspective, right? The thing
Right.
is that if you're spending time on LinkedIn and building connections, and people are knowing you through your content, then eventually it is helping your business. People know that Bilal, Asif, or Federico, these guys, they specialize in this particular kind of niche. They create content in this kind of niche, and whenever they because you've been constantly appearing in their feeds, the next time if they are looking for a service, they would know, "Oh, that guy Federico, or oh, that guy Bilal, he talks a lot. I was just seeing his post the other day. I should talk to him about it." So that's like, you have to look at it that way. And when you will look at it that way, then it would be easy for you to invest more time on this side.
Right. Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Can you develop a little bit more what the persona-driven content is, or how does that work behind the scenes on ConnectGenie?
All right. So basically, what happened was that when we launched ConnectGenie, AI was comparatively new. I think OpenAI launched ChatGPT on November 2024. Please don't quote me for it. I just think that it's the case. But I think that was the time. And then we started using AI in different applications, integrating OpenAI to create content. But one thing was quite visible, that the content that AI was creating, it was very bland. Like it sound robotic, and it was anyone who has some sense of writing would be easily able to identify that this content, this comment has been written by AI, right? So to solve this problem, and my whole startup was revolving around it, so I had to solve this problem somehow. What I did was that I because if you've used chat gpt, there is a custom gpt option, right? The custom gpt, what it does is that you give it some instructions for a specific task. You try to ask it to adapt itself for a certain task, like for creating content for a particular play, for a particular niche or domain. So I took inspiration from that, and I gave our users the ability to define their persona. What it does is that you write your persona, the our AI would understand the instructions that you have given in the persona, like your writing style, your tone of voice, like if you like being too casual, or if you like being too professional, and then it will try to mimic your writing style accordingly. So that was what the persona feature was. And ultimately what happens is that you can have multiple personas, and people would use one persona for commenting, one for post drafting. Then you can also have a persona for your company page. In that sense, it helps to deliver better content, more humanized.
Right, right. I use something similar. Basically, this is called context, right? Giving
Yeah.
context to the LLM so it can do the task better, or more personalized of what we want, right?
Basically, yeah. You
Yeah,
just give it a role, but the role with more specific details, like this is the
right.
name of this is my industry, this is my designation, and this is how I write. So when all of these things combine and with a specific tone, the comment gets created in a much more humanized way, in a much more way that you would have written yourself. So that was the whole concept, and that's what we implemented through persona feature.
Right, right. Yeah, I'm using some similar concept on my application. We're using context as well, because what we're doing is with pre-vetted AI, we are building an agent that can do technical interviews for candidates. So that way the hiring manager can describe the questions that they want to ask to the candidates, and then the agent can do the questions run the screening, provide the results, right? That's what we're working on. Yeah. And the
Pretty
context
nice.
is very important because we try with generic prompts, and as you said, it's very blunt. It doesn't give you too much personalization, right?
Yeah. In your case, I guess, it would be because I'm an engineer, so I do interview a lot. So I guess, for each kind of role that you're trying to hire for full stack JavaScript developers, you would, ask that the AI should adopt the role of a JavaScript interviewer. For Python developer, it would, adopt a role of a Python expert. And for data analysis, like this goes on. So this is something I think that you would be beneficial, and I would really love to see when you guys launch. I'm not sure, have you guys launched it yet, or is it still under development?
Yeah, we have a first version, but we are running the screening manually with humans.
Very nice.
And we're working on the agent. I think the agent is going to be a game changer, but I'm trying to validate. I trust the process that we have with humans. I don't trust the process that we have with agents yet. So I'm working on that. What I'm trying to figure out is how close in quality can I be with an agent, and how, how much lower is still acceptable, right? So I'm trying to figure that out, right? Because with my process, I had 100% success rate for the last 6 years, right? So, um, and I think that number is really good, right? So can I do the same with an agent? I don't think so, right? Because the agent is going to ask questions. It's going to be more robotic. There's going to be more resistance for people to use it, right? So I don't know, right? That's what I'm trying to figure out, right?
I think, obviously, initially, when you will launch this and you will have some testing done through test users by user acceptance testing, in that phase, I think you will have some idea based on the data. I think you have to set very strong metrics, benchmarks, that, how well an agent is able to, come up with questions. Obviously, the answers would be recorded, then you would be able to judge that. But the questions, how good the questions are going to be, I think that is going to be quite helpful and going to be the benchmark of setting that, how well the agent is doing. Now, it should not go too complex, like all lead code stuff, but maybe in between somewhere.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, the way that I see it is that, if we can screen, 80% of the candidates, right? And then we have the best 20%. That's better than not having this tool, right? Now we with our human process, we can do 98%, right? So how closer can I get there, right? 50 might be easier to do. 60 might be, the closer I get to the 98%, the harder it gets, right? So my thinking is, if I can do, start with 50%, then go up, right? Can I go better and better in quality, right? And assume that we're going to still have to do some screening with humans, right? And then I think that would be a good fit for the tool, because that way it allows me to, have a lower aim and launch it, and then keep improving over it, right? And the idea is to save people's time.
I understand. I mean, this is because whenever someone talks to me about a SaaS, I start thinking like an engineer, right?
Right.
So while we were speaking, so this just came to my mind that maybe in order to analyze it, because the thing is, ultimately the code that would be written by the interviewee, that can obviously be judged by the LLM, and it can give you the right result. That's not
Yeah.
the problem, right? But what needs to assessed and analyzed is that how well of questions is that AI agent asking to the interviewee. Because if it should not go too advanced, it should not go too low, it should be somewhere in between, right? Or based on that. So I guess this is just my suggestion, because it just came to my mind. I did not want to slip it off. Don't want that it slips off. Maybe the current the humans that you have right now that are doing these interviews, maybe uh, let them take help from the AI agent, that ask them ask them to use the AI agent to create the questions, so that they can assess that if the questions are that the agent is asking, is it good or not. And once that way, you would be able to fine tune your agents and ultimately then the human factor can be taken out from this whole process, and the AI agent can have an avatar and an AI agent's voice, and then they can obviously do the interviews entirely, and the whole process can be automated. I mean, this is just my one. I'm sure that you might have thought of this before, but since this just came to my mind, I thought to put it in front of you right now.
Yeah, actually, that's a great idea. We started doing that. So we started with a dictionary of questions that we usually ask, depending on the role, and what we do is we ask ChatGPT to help us add more questions to this dictionary. It's not a dictionary; it's more of a document, but I call it dictionary of questions. And with that, we expanded that questionnaire, and then we pick from there to ask randomly. So our intention is to use that to start the questions, and then we're planning to do it in two steps. One is to generate questions based on the role and get the hiring manager to approve or change the questions, right? And then after that, we do the screening based on the questions that were given. So we limit what the agent should do, so that way it doesn't hallucinate on questions, right?
Right.
And then we can validate that if the candidate is responding or not the question, right?
Got it.
And if it's not, we keep asking, please answer the question, right? Yeah. That's kind of what we're working on. And then so we have one step where we do pair programming with the candidates on our human process. So I don't think we're not going to be able to do that with the agent, right? At least not now, right?
Makes sense.
But for Q&A, I think it's going to be good.
I understand. Best of luck with that, man. I mean, really looking forward to seeing when it gets launched.
Yeah, thank you. I apologize. We kind of drifted towards that, but yeah.
No problem. It's absolutely
great. So, what is one common mistake professionals make when they are defining their persona? Going back to the persona at ConnectGenie.
The thing is that we have made the persona definition process quite easier. You can just simply go paste your LinkedIn profile URL, hit import, and it will take out all the information from your LinkedIn, your name, your designation, your experience, your industry. And I don't think the industry, but and take away all the data from your about section, and then it shows you that this is the information that has been now populated in your respective fields. What I really want is that and I've given a specific note next to that one particular feed that is called background and writing style. I've given a note so that people are able to check out that note. What I want is that because while persona definition, it is going to take the information from your about section, but the about section will never be talking about what kind of writing style you have. It will just give us the context about your industry. But what I want our users is that they should have that when they define their persona, they should talk about their writing style, they should talk about their hobbies, they should talk about their heroes, the people that they admire, the things that they hate, the kind of words they don't like to use, the kind of words they would like to use. So these are the things that they really need to input there. And I think this is something that people, because the process is so easy, they just click on a button and then the information gets populated in the form. They think that we are all done, but that should not be the case. I think that a little bit of effort in in tweaking you and telling the AI about your writing style is very important.
Right, because the bio and the description is mostly about the people achievements, what they have been doing, things like
what
that.
They have been doing exactly.
Yeah. And this is more of a personal preference, right?
Yeah,
which is harder to get.
Yeah, exactly. And this is something that just needs to have some context, that what is your writing style. That's the main, you niche down to it. What exactly is your writing style? So if you're able to define that, you will see ConnectGenie producing you the content that you actually would have written yourself. Obviously, it cannot go into your mind. It's still an AI, but still it creates a lot better content. And with the new models, right now we are about to roll out the integration with 4.1, and I guess there is 4 mini. The content that is being produced, it's like just remarkable. Very good.
Interesting. Yeah. The I failed to remember who came up with this idea, I wanted to mention. But anyway, the way that I'm defining AI now is average of everything, master of none.
Exactly. The jack of all cards.
Right. I'll remember it after it. So I want to give credit to where credit's due. But the idea is that with the context, with the personas, you can give them the guidance to be personalized and more specific towards what you need, right?
Exactly. Makes sense.
Yeah. So you mentioned that ConnectGenie can handle multiple personas, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned that you can have one persona for posting, another persona for commenting. What will be the another use cases for multiple personas?
Well, the thing is that multiple personas is that one is that you can have that, as you mentioned, that we can have one for the post drafting, one for the commenting, one for the connection request note, and in each of these different personas, you can tell the AI about the different personalities you might have. Like if you start introducing yourself, you're more formal. But if you have a connection built up with you, like if I and you, we both are commenting on each other's posts on a regular basis, we might have some more casual discussion. So in that sense, you might have a persona that is more casual. So that's that. But the other factor is that a lot of people use their company profile as well. So in ConnectGenie, the persona can be of a company as well. So the main reason for defining multiple persona was to have the users be able to use their persona for their profile as well as for their company as well, for company profile as well. Begin and then we advise people to have multiple personas for different features. It's up to them. If one persona works for everything, then good. If not, then have multiple personas in that sense.
Right. I haven't thought about that use case that you mentioned, that when you don't know somebody, you're more formal, and then when you have a close relationship, you are less formal, right? So I think that's a good one.
Yeah.
What do you think was the toughest technical challenge you had to solve while building ConnectGenie?
Well, the prompt engineering was a little tough. That was one part. The tough thing that we are doing these days is about post scheduling. Basically, in order to schedule a post, one way to do it is to use LinkedIn API. But we're not using LinkedIn API because it does not offers you much, and it does have access to your data. And then they have a lot of restrictions that we could not afford to have. So what we have to do, we had to reverse engineer how post scheduling actually works on LinkedIn and their platform. And we have been fortunate enough to reverse engineer that. And that is something that my development team is working upon, and we'll be rolling out pretty soon. That and comment scheduling, that is also something that we reverse engineered. A lot of things that that involved reverse engineering, that took a lot of our time, development efforts. So that was the tough part. And other than that, from an execution perspective, I did not have any marketing background. I totally have been a hardcore JavaScript programmer for the most part of my life. But to do the marketing, I had to hire people, fire people, hire agencies, fire agencies. So ultimately, it came down to the fact that I have to do founder led marketing. And then, even though I was working on my personal brand previously, but on an average level, but now I do the personal branding through my founder's profile more than I used to. And I've learned a lot along the way with these hurdles.
Yeah. I mean, the you know what experience is, right? It's all the mistakes we've done in the past, right? Now we know
Yeah,
what we don't have to do, right? So even though it's painful, and stressful and frustrating,
exactly.
all the mistakes, as you were mentioning, hire and fire people and hire and fire agencies, right? So that experience allow us to do better in the future, right? In the now and the future, right? So yeah.
I'm all set up for the next startup, man. I had not done any product based startup for a really long while. I was just doing services, but the grind that I've been through, I've learned a lot. I was previously just a product engineer. Now I am a product marketer. I am a graphic designer. I'm a video editor. There are a list of things that I do on a regular basis, content creation and all that. So I have learned a lot of things. I think in worst case, and I hope that it never happens, if things don't work out with ConnectGenie, I will still have a lot of opportunity for me because I've learned a lot of skills throughout this journey.
Yes, I agree. I'm doing a lot of the editing of these videos myself, even though I have some help as well. But I want to be able to learn how to do it myself, so I can do the whole process and do it better, right? So
Yeah, that's right.
One, you were mentioning that you have to reverse engineering the scheduling and the commenting. I've done something similar with LinkedIn, where I was my use case was much simpler, but we were trying to get the information of the different people on different profiles, right? So I use UI Vision RPA to build a script that will allow me to go through different profiles, extract information, and send it to my server, right? And because I prefer Ruby over JavaScript, I kind of lean toward I would send more data to my server so I could process it more on the Ruby side, right? Yeah. And one of the issues we had was that the UI was changing very frequently, so the CSS rule would not longer apply, right? And the UI vision is much limited to what the what you can do, right? Because you use XPath and CSS rules, and that's pretty much it. Whereas if as I understand, you have built your own Google Chrome extension, so that allows you to have more freedom and more tools available to be able to interact with LinkedIn better, right?
Yeah, basically the thing is that I've been developing extensions since 2016. Like my overall work experience is 12 years. I graduated in 2013, but I've been working specifically with browser extensions since 2016.
Right.
So, and a lot of extensions, they have to deal with DOM manipulation. They have to deal with a lot of data scrapping. And since I've been doing this for so long, I, once I see the DOM, because of the experience that I have and the grind that I had to go through, I am able to study the DOM more quickly. And I do realize that, these are the selectors of the CSS that are less likely to change as compared to the others. So it comes with experience, but and one of that reasons is that, and I am not trying to boast about this, but I've seen the competitor or a competitor extension, like there was Engage AI, there was Rightly. They used to break a lot, right? And
Right.
I mean that, right, our extension could also break, but the thing is that the way I engineered it, right, I used the proper CSS selectors. It has been very less. I think 99% of the time, our extension never broke. Less time, I think that some selectors got changed, but most of the since I've launched it, all the features are working really good. So it's all about experience with understanding the DOM. Once you have some better experience, then this data scrapping and all that becomes easier.
Right. Right. I was struggling on that because on what I built, because for my use case it wouldn't make sense to build a Chrome extension. I didn't have experience with that, so the cost for doing that was too high compared to just dealing with the tool that I had at hand, right? That
Yeah,
was
makes sense.
working
Makes
good
sense.
enough, right? So anyway, and now that you were talking about that, I remember my time struggling with LinkedIn and the
And
CSS rules
selectors.
and
Yeah,
selectors. Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. So, can you tell us about your client framework and what does client CLI?
Yeah. So basically, the thing is that when I launched ConnectGenie in 2023, before that I was doing different consultancies, some through Upwork, some outside of Upwork. So after the launch of ConnectGenie, I had stopped focusing on the services wing, like the Kickbits operations. They were going on. We have really senior engineers who take care of the entire development process on their own. So I don't have to focus on that part too much. I was just focused on ConnectGenie, developing new features, trying to talk to our customers, and creating content on the marketing side. So that was my game. So what happened was that my Upwork profile got really ignored, and eventually, because there was no activity since past, I think, 2 years or so, more than 2 years. So the badges that I had, the Upwork top rated badge, the score that I had, they all were stripped off, obviously, because with Upwork, if you keep on making money for them, then they keep on giving you a better score. If you don't make money for them, then they bring out the other freelancers who are able to do that. Again, coming to the point that the client framework, then and by, I think, the last quarter of 2024, I started focusing on trying to revive my services wing. For that, since Upwork was a good sales channel, I thought, since I have done so much work, I have a good work history, I'll start just bidding on the proposal, and I will be having a project in my hand in no time. But that did not happen because for some reason things had changed. There was a lot of competition. The connects got really expensive. So one day, like after an effort of 2 or 3 months, I decided that I need to sit on my Upwork profile and see what exactly is going wrong. And then there's this guy named Ivan Fisher. I saw his video on YouTube and he was recommending about how you can optimize your profile. So I took all of his instructions, created some notes, and then started optimizing my profile. And by the end of that night, I remember that I did not sleep that night as well. By the end of that night, I had my profile completely optimized, and I was really proud of what I had done, because that, like, there was every section was really defining that that now my profile will get visibility. And at the end of the day, I asked ChatGPT, like, because I was taking a lot of help from ChatGPT at the same time, that what should I write here, what should I write there. At the end of the whole process, I asked ChatGPT, this is a very nice thing that we have created over here. How about we name this whole process something, and we can share it with others. So so the name actually was given to this whole process was by ChatGPT. He named it Client Framework, which stands for capture attention, list your skills, instill trust, explain value, narrate experience, and tell your story. So these are the three, I think, six abbreviations towards that. What this means is that mostly what people do is, on their Upwork profile, they start, and in their description they start with, hi, my name is Bilal and I am a Chrome extension developer. You have to understand that the first 250 characters of your Upwork description, they are the most critical real estate, and you cannot just write, hi, my name is Bilal, and stuff like that. That does not gain attention. So you have to make sure that you write something over there that captures the attention of your prospect.
Right.
Write something. So that's the capture part. Then after that, you have captured the attention, that there is a list your skills, because if someone has seen you and they have you have their attention, now they want to click on your profile and want to see that the thing that they want to hire you for, do you have the skills for that or not. Then after that, you instill trust with them by telling them about your work history, your achievements, what exactly have you achieved on Upwork, what other projects that you have, any sort of achievement that can help them understand that this guy has a social proof that they're very good. Then you explain value, that what exactly would they get out of if they work with you. And then you narrate your experience about what projects that you have, important projects that you have worked upon. And then you tell your story, that if they work with you, what exactly is the benefit that they are going to get. And you tell your story, because you have initially gained their trust, you have given them everything that they needed. Now is the time that if you want to talk about some of yourself, then you can use that particular part. So that is the client framework that ChatGPT both invented.
I mean, when I was reading about it, I was intrigued because the name is so clever, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a name given by AI. So I won't take credit for it. It was totally ChatGPT. But the thing is that it has helped a lot of people. I mean, I'll be very honest. Even before it
Right.
helped me, it helped people who, because I posted about it on LinkedIn, everyone came and they wanted that, if I can give them this framework. And I did. There are people actually who came to thank me, that because, this framework helped them to gain projects. I did not get any project after implementing my client framework, but these guys who were more rigorously applying, they got some projects, and a lot of them I posted about them on LinkedIn as well.
Right, right, and I think that's very interesting, to be able to help others. Yeah, one of the things that we do on our recruiting is we give feedback to every candidate that goes through our process, to because people, once they are rejected, most of the processes, they just ignore them, right? So we try to encourage people by giving them feedback and try to explain them why they didn't make the cut, and what are things that they can do or learn to do better the next time, right? And then when we have rotating roles, we invite them to apply again in a year after they follow our advice, so that we can, they can apply again, right? And that we do it for the same reason, to help people, right? Yeah.
Sure. I mean, it's in building your personal brand and building your startup. It's all about giving value at the end of the day. If you're giving value, your startup is going to get known. If you're giving value, your personal brand is going to get known. So that's
Right.
all there is to it.
Yes. So what measurable results did you notice after optimizing your profile using the client framework?
Well, first of all, I think for me, I started getting more profile views on Upwork. My proposals, they were not getting any traction, but they started getting traction. I was not able to close anything still for a while after, implementing these optimization. That's probably the reason, because there is a lot of competition and I have a very high hourly rate on Upwork, because I used to work on a high rate, and now since there is competition a lot, so I did not lower down my rates. So I guess that was the reason. But I did start getting a lot of profile views and invitations like I used to. The other way, just like I told you right now, there were other people who I shared my framework with. They actually got projects. One of them got 3 projects, 3 offers. The other one got 2 offers, and everyone kept telling me about the fact that this has improved their Upwork, because they had lower rates. They were a little junior in terms of experience, so they were pitching on lower rates, so they were getting a lot of actual conversion, actual monetarily benefits through using this framework.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, I think that's the ultimate goal, right? To if the framework is generating revenue, then it has a proven success, right? Yeah, and then all the other metrics are great, but the ultimate is conversion. The best metric for the client framework is actually conversion, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
and I was saying that the sales can solve everything. It can even cure a very pained soul as well. I mean, sales can do sales is the main thing of the problem. If it is solved, then everything else can take care of itself. So that's that. So I mean,
right.
yeah, it has. I cannot take full credit for it. There was Ivan Fisher whose advice I follow, and then this ChatGPT who helped me to come up with the name. So and it worked. So I'm grateful to both of them. I guess ChatGPT and Ivan Fisher, both of them, for helping me create this framework.
Great, great. Yeah, and as I mentioned before, I think that the helping moving forward others, I think that's the because yes, once you solve sales, then you can focus on more higher hierarchy goals, right? And I think that helping others is one of those, right, where you're helping the community to do better, right?
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree
Yeah.
with that.
Great. So last question: what is the future with ConnectGenie? What excites you for the future of ConnectGenie?
Well, with ConnectGenie, first of all, the journey has been really great. It has taught me a lot. It has made me a better human being, if nothing else. I was an arrogant prick before, then it has humbled me down, to be very honest. The thing is that I used to think that engineers, product engineers, software engineers, they are the real deal. These people of business, these guys who study business, they should not even exist, because that is not something to study. The real study is software engineering. But as I have jumped into being a proper founder that has to market, that has to sell things, so I have realized how wrong I was. So, that has, really humbled me. The future of ConnectGenie is that, I intend to have some new features that we are about to I have a lot of hope that people are getting educated about personal branding as we go. In that sense, tools like ConnectGenie, or even there are other tools that can actually help people to build their personal brands more easier. They will be help a lot. So that's like my take, and I hope that it comes to be true one day.
I'm looking forward to it, and I'll follow you to see when you get there. I'm rooting for you.
We will get there. We will get there, inshallah.
Thank you, Bilal, for being here today.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me, and I hope that we are able to collaborate for in this regard again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.